Hello, Scream Demons, and welcome to the Screams from the Basement podcast.
This is the scariest horror podcast on this side of the Black Lagoon. Screams from the Basement discusses the best double features the genre has to offer.
We also interview the industry's finest that make our screams become nightmares. I am one of your creepy co-hosts. I am Casey.
And I'm Sam the Damned, and let's get screaming.
Let's get screaming as this episode is dropping. It is Friday the 13th. The first of 3 Friday the 13ths in 2026. Insane.
Yeah.
We get Halloween once a year, but god damn it, we get Friday the 13th 3 times this year.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Are we doing, I know what we're doing for March, so I guess this is a dumb question. Are we doing rip-offs for each one? Like we are today?
Well, the next, we know what we're doing for March 13th.
Yeah, what are we? Yeah, we do know what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just drawing a blank because my mind is mush tonight.
Not rip-offs, not rip-offs, related to the Friday the 13th series.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for that episode. We'll announce it later.
I think the other one is might be in November, I think, is the other Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So we'll have to look if it falls on a interview date or if it falls on a double feature. If it falls on a double feature, we might have to do another slasher pairing like we are doing today, which today's topic is, it's Friday the 13th ripoffs or movies heavily influenced by the Friday the 13th series. And we are talking Unmasked Part 25 from 1988, which came out right in the craze of the Friday the 13th series. And Sam, what's our second movie?
Our second one is from 2018, based on a Twitter thread. The horror comedy You Might Be the Killer.
So two Friday the 13th riffs. Very much both would not exist without the one and only Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like that franchise's DNA is embedded in both of these movies, heavily.
So we've only done Jason Takes Manhattan as a double feature on the show, correct?
Yes, which is ironically what we're playing this Friday.
Yeah, so welcome State Theater goers in Sioux Falls if you are listening to this before or after the fact of Friday the 13th. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Hope you had a good time. I won't have. I'm kidding. I will have fun. I fucking hate that movie. Anyway, we did a double feature with that and Scream 6 when that came out. So it was one of the first episodes of the show, really. So Sam, this is our first time really, besides that, getting into the Friday the 13th series, but tangentially, in a way.
Yeah. We need to do more of the Friday the 13th because, I mean, we need to do more of the big 3 slashers in general, I feel like. Because
we've done Elm Street. 1 and 2.
I always forget we did that episode.
Yeah.
I always forget we covered the first 2 Elm Street movies. And, Elm Street is your franchise. Like, you really like Freddy, you really like the Elm Street films. Yeah, exactly. I was not this way until a few years ago. But I have fallen head over heels for Friday the 13th. That whole series, I love them all. The good, the bad, the great. All of them are just, I don't know. I dig this. I dig this series. I dig the copious amounts of ripoffs that have spawned from it.
Yeah, there were plenty of ripoffs that we could have talked about today. I mean, we could have done literally almost any of the 80s slashers from The Burning to we've done The Prowler, but we haven't done like The Burning. We've never done Sleepaway Camp yet. Hell, I would say maybe My Bloody Valentine might fall in there too, just because that might be more of a Halloween ripoff, but still. So I think more so these movies from the 80s ripped off Friday the 13th than they did Halloween. So there was plenty that we could have covered. There was some generic ripoffs from the 90s that included hockey mask-faced killers.
And even more modern takes like The Final Girls with Taissa Farmiga.
I wish you picked that one. Anyway. No. Today's movies, they're fun. They're both complete meta takes on slashers, specifically the Friday the 13th movies. So are you ready to jump into our first one then?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, so let's jump into the first movie in our Friday the 13th rip-off double feature, which is Unmasked Part 25, aka The Hand of Death. So this
Yeah.
was released 1988 in the beautiful country of the UK. This is a UK slasher. This is UK riff on the Friday the 13th series, released I think on video after in the United States. So around like 1990, I think it came out on video here. Directed by Anders Palm, written by Mark Cutforth. The cast includes Gregory Cox as the slasher killer Jackson. Jackson the slasher hockey mask wearing killer, and Fiona Evans as Shelley, the blind love interest to Jackson. Yes, we said that correctly. The love interest to Jackson. Sam, what is Unmasked Part 25 all about?
Well, in Unmasked Part 25, a hockey mask wearing serial killer falls in love with a blind woman who introduces him to the beauty of BDSM. It makes him rethink his killer ways, but for how long? We don't know. We do by the end of the movie, but we don't know until the end of the movie.
Unmasked Part 25.
Unmasked Part 25, or
Okay,
The Hand
Sam.
of Death.
Go
Can
ahead.
I just say the double title stuff always gets me. Like, I love a movie with an original title card in it. The first time I watched Trick or Treat, it still had the title card of Ragman attached to it.
Mutilator has Fall Break still.
Yeah. I thought for sure when you let me borrow your Blu-ray of this, and I popped it in. And for one thing, the menu on this Blu-ray is just the opening credits of the movie. So that threw me. I thought the movie was already starting. I'm like, oh, but the menu's still up. That's weird. And then the title card came up, Hand of Death, and I'm like, did he put the wrong Blu-ray in this case? Like, I was like, what is this? So I had to search on Letterboxd, The Hand of Death, and Unmasked Part 25 popped up. I'm like, okay, it's one of those situations. I was so confused out the gate with this.
Fair enough. Yeah, so it's interesting. So I had first heard about this through Vinegar Syndrome, which I think most people probably, this is how they've discovered it. It didn't really have that big of a release here in the U.S., like, at all, and it was out of print for a very long time until Vinegar Syndrome released it a few years ago. So I picked it up during one of, like, their holiday sales, I think, because it was, I saw the cover, and I was like, what is this? And, of course, it's a Friday the 13th parody. Picked it up with that Blu-ray. Still, that's kind of the only way you can watch it. Not available on streaming. I believe it's now out of print, that Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome. So kind of a tough movie for people to find nowadays. Apologies as the person who picked this for our audience members who like to watch along. I'm sorry, this one's not easier. You'll just have to go pick up that Blu-ray. I think it's a great Blu-ray to pick up. But the interesting part is there's not a whole lot of like special features on that Blu-ray. Speaking of that title menu, like there's not a whole lot going on in that Blu-ray. I think it's more so that they just got the movie out there for everyone to watch. You can probably read it off. I don't even. Is there a commentary on it? There's no like making of or anything like that. I know that.
Yeah, there are two audio commentaries.
Two commentaries.
But that's pretty much it because it's the newly scanned and restored 2K from its original 30mm internegative. An audio commentary with director Anders Palm, moderated by film journalist David Flint. An audio commentary with writer-producer Mark Cutforth, moderated by Peter Kaplowski and Justin DeClow of Laser Blast Film Society, and then it's just the stills gallery, original trailer, reversible cover artwork, and subtitles. That's it. So basically you have two audio commentaries on this disc.
Yeah. I did not pop those on. I am curious to listen to those sometime. Check out the commentaries on this. But this kind of starts off, it's so interesting about this movie because it takes place in London. We open right away. Credits are over beautiful London. There's like a 80s classic, like 80s rock song playing over the credits. It's awesome.
The opening credits song is a banger for sure.
It's a banger. Both of these movies, banger soundtracks.
Yes.
Have that in common. Especially over the credits. But yeah, like this movie is a Friday the 13th movie in London. And you're like, how does that work? How do we do that? Because we're not at not at a camp. We don't have camp counselors. But just take that. Take Jason and the concept of Jason and put him in London. That's pretty much what you get in this movie. Except Jason, a.k.a. Jackson, knows he was in all of those Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So, I mean, we get the Harbinger of Doom. We get the opening kill sequences, which are awesome. What's that?
The drunk guy in the bushes.
Yeah, the drunk guy in the bushes that pops out and warns them of, like, you're near Jackson's home place. Don't go there. You'll die.
Yeah. Yep. I love that guy. This opening sequence is great. Like, the opening kills, like, it feels very handmade. It's kind of sloppy and amateur in its camera work, but, like, the gore effects are so much fun.
In both of these movies, they are four parodies of the Friday the 13th movies. They rival the kills in the Friday the 13th movies.
Yes, 100% they do.
Yes, in this opening of this movie, there's like a party going on. Very 80s party. Everyone looks super 80s. The first guy kind of like he like kind of goes away like off on his own, and he gets his face like peeled open and then like his heart ripped out.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's pretty great.
And then this, I wrote in my notes here. There's a drunk couple at the party. They try to fuck in Charlie and Frank's apartment from It's Always Sunny because it's just the nastiest, dingiest, grossest apartment ever.
Yeah, that abandoned room in the flat. Yeah. That's just it's just trash wall to wall. It's gross.
The guy in that situation, he gets his face caved in and with a shovel, and then the woman gets strangled. So again, we're just like pretty much right away, first 10 minutes, there's a pretty high body count in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a shovel to the face at one point, like just
the next couple decides to go again. We gotta separate. We gotta go fuck, and they get separated. We see dong. The movie. There's dong. Yeah. There's dong in the movie. You don't get that in the Friday the 13th movies.
No, you do not.
You get dong. The guy who hangs dong gets like speared to the wall.
Yep. Oh my god.
One of my favorite ones though is this gal who's like total like 80s glam. Like she has this like
the
big
giant
spiky dyed hair, has a Pretenders shirt on. She gets like stabbed with a light, like it's like a lamp, but like Jackson breaks the light bulb, so it's like a spear almost.
Yeah, and he puts it through her head. Yeah. It's great. Like all of these kills are fantastic. And yet
I mean
it
does a great job
so
of like
British.
this is the cold open kills before we get the actuals. Like we're already in a Friday the 13th movie at this point. This is kind of like the climax of a Friday the 13th movie, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the greatest hits of one, and then the rest of the movie has to happen after this.
Yeah. And then it takes a turn where your final girl ends up being a blind woman who takes a liking to our killer.
Yeah,
she thinks he's the blind date.
Yeah.
Right? And since he grunts, she also thinks he's mute. And she's like, oh, that must be why they set us up. And so they go home together.
Yeah, they go back to her apartment. He eventually takes off his mask after speaking to her. And he's like, I wear it. Like, she figures out, like, trying to touch his face, that he has a mask on. And he's basically like, I'm super deformed. You don't want to see what's behind here, even though you can't see. But, like, it's just so deformed, like he has to hide his face. And she says no, like let me see your face. And he eventually takes off his mask and they kiss, and it's like immediately that it's like, oh, what's going on now? Like, Jason's got a girlfriend.
Yeah, it's really just it hits the romance right away, like, and gets into it.
I think it does a great job at it too.
Yeah. And like honestly, the reveal of his face and the makeup of his face, incredible. Like I love the design of like the kind of jagged scars that go like diagonally across his face and the way his one eye kind of droops. Like at times it feels almost like toxy
Yeah,
in a sense. Like yeah,
especially
just
with
the
the
way
blind,
his face is like
especially with the
lopsided.
blind girlfriend.
Yeah, the blind
Yeah,
girlfriend especially. Like
yeah,
yeah, this movie almost feels it feels just as indebted to the Toxic Avenger as it does Friday the 13th. And maybe that's where I kind of wanted more is I wish that there was more I wish there was more traumaness to this.
interesting. Yeah,
I
because it's
wish
not. I
I don't
don't think
know.
there's like any tromaness besides that. The like the basic Toxie connection. You know,
Yeah.
where
I
beauty
well,
meets the blind beauty meets the beast.
yeah. I feel like you maybe get a little bit of it in the BDSM scene, which we'll get to, which
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. I thought it was pretty great. Um,
But I mean, I think this is such a great setup of jumping into what this movie actually is
mhm.
that it is a slasher movie. It's still a riff on the Friday the 13th movies, but really at its core, it's a Shakespearean tragedy.
Yes.
And I think that's so interesting. I know the movie even credits William Shakespeare as one of the writers of the movie.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they lift literal like lines from Shakespeare plays.
yeah, so at this point, after they kiss, they end up spending the night together. Like
Mm-hmm.
Jackson and Shelley, they end up sleeping together. Hilarious. Like right
Yeah.
away, first night, he's smoking a cigarette right afterwards. And while he's smoking a cigarette, he tells Shelley basically his life story. It's pretty much the same as Jason Voorhees.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a camp. I started killing off the camp counselors because they were making fun of my deformities.
Mm-hmm.
And he learned how to not only read but also like really speak because of the textbooks that all these camp counselors brought. So he would bring them back. Like imagine part 2, Jason steals the camp counselor's textbooks of William Shakespeare and brings them
Yeah.
back to his cabin and starts reading Romeo and Juliet to his mom's severed head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
That's
he
pretty
starts
great.
reciting Shakespeare back to her, like
Yep.
verbatim.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's a ton of high dramatic Shakespearean monologues and stuff in this.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I I liked this movie. I wanted to love it and I didn't get there through this. But there is enough here to where I'm like the stuff that works really works. I just don't know if I felt the like super campy gory slasher and the Shakespearean stuff ever fully meshed for me where I felt like I was almost watching like two different movies and it kind of depended on the scene of which speed this movie was at. You know?
Interesting. Yeah, I think they work really well together because you get that opening, like I said, which is basically a condensed Friday the 13th movie into the first like 10 minutes.
Mhm.
And then you kind of get the twist of, oh, he doesn't kill the final girl or she doesn't kill him. They end up falling in love.
Mhm.
And then we kind of get that through the rest of the runtime until the final act. But you get sprinkles of like him trying to live a normal life with her, but
Yeah.
that slasherness, like pulling him back in, of like, oh no, I still need a kill.
Yeah, like he's stalking her best friend and
Stalking
things
her
like
best
that and
friend.
like
His
yeah.
dad is like, no, you're a killer. You could never, no one could ever fall in love with you. I think
Yeah.
maybe that's one thing I didn't need in the movie is
Okay,
the
I was
dad
actually
character.
gonna ask you about the dad. I couldn't fucking stand every time like anytime he was on screen.
Yeah.
I was out. I did not like him. And
So
thankfully he's not in it much.
he's not
But
in it much. It kind of puts a like the movie kind of comes to a screeching halt when you get to the scenes with the dad. Like
yes.
just kind of stops any
100%.
momentum. I don't think it's necessary that the dad's in the movie. Obviously, the Jason Voorhees dad is not in any of the Friday the 13th movies. So it's kind
Mhm.
of maybe like an interesting riff on that. That maybe this is Jason, but Jason's dad was a drunk in London Well, Pamela
Yeah.
was killing teens at the camp. I don't know. Maybe that's what we're supposed to look into this.
Maybe, yeah. I
But
just
he's not really necessary besides to say, like, you're ugly and you shouldn't fall in love. And I'm like, he kind of does that himself. Like, Jackson, the character, does that himself of, like, through
yeah.
his monologues, through his Shakespearean monologues, does that himself. So we don't really need the dad character to do that same thing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at too. I was just like, I feel like this guy's already like down on himself. He's already kind of having these thoughts of like romantic inadequacy and all this kind of stuff, and like how could I possibly be in love with someone if I'm a killer? And then you just have this like this dad who's written and played to like obnoxious levels of just I don't know, it's just too over the top and like I just
But
I
it's
don't
not
know.
like it's not like Trauma-esque,
No.
where it's just, I don't know,
Like it's
over
not
the top
funny.
to be over the
It's not,
top, you know?
yeah.
Like, it's
It
not
just
necessarily funny or entertaining. It's just kind of to push this character down even further. I'm like, we already
hmm
get that. We understand the character. It's Jason Voorhees. Like, that's the
yeah.
setup. We don't need the dad character to say this stuff that we already know.
The dad does get a good death scene. I'll
He
give
does
him
get
that.
a good
Like,
death scene.
you know, the classic head getting crushed between two hands is always like a
Good
really
stuff.
fun gore gag, you know? So, and this one does it really well.
I'm curious what you think of this plot point. So again, spoilers for the whole movie. We will spoil this whole movie if you are
hmm
curious to watch it. But we find out that Jason, if you want to call him that, he's like the character in the movies, in the Hand of Death movies, however many those are, in the Friday the 13th movies, if you will, is a real life person. So the movies made about Jackson's life are about what really happened in his life.
hmm
So he's a real movie character out on the streets that they made
Yeah.
movies about. So it's confusing meta, I think, a little bit. It's a
A
little
little
muddled.
bit, yeah.
But where I find it interesting is where he is trying to live this normal life. There's a really funny part where, like, they go on a date, him and Shelly, and they go to a Halloween store. She ends up buying a hockey mask to kind of fit in
Yeah.
with him. It's really cute. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And then at one point, he runs into her friends at the pub.
hmm
And one of them he's trying to be an actor. He wants to be an actor. They know Jackson is the guy from those movies.
Yeah.
So they then would assume he's a real life serial killer, right?
Well,
Or do
see,
they
that's
assume
where
he's
it
an
gets kind of
actor
muddy. I think they think
playing?
he's the
I don't know.
actor because they say he's like they're just filming the new one up the street or whatever.
Yes. And
And so
yeah.
I'm thinking they think he's an actor who wandered in, but like what actor would wander in full costume, you know,
Yeah.
with the mask on and everything? Like I don't know.
So it makes me wonder then, okay, they're making these movies. They're making, let's say, Hand of Death 25.
hmm
Okay? Is Jackson in those movies? Like the Jackson we're watching, the one that's falling in love with Shelley, is he in those movies? Or is there an actor portraying Jackson in those movies?
I think there's a British Kane Hodder portraying him in
There's a
those
British
movies.
Kane Hodder out there.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Okay.
my take on it, anyways. I don't know, because like
And they're
he's
just
obviously
basing it
not.
off. It's like a stab thing. I mean, this is
Yeah,
stab before stab.
yeah. It's stab before stab, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
like it does. It kind of just there's layers upon layers, and it kind of folds over on itself. But it's I don't know.
I
Like
like
there,
it. I'm not saying I
yeah,
don't like it. It's just a little confusing of like what are the rules here? Like we're not unlike the stab movies where we see, especially in like the sequels to Scream, obviously, where we see the stab movies, we understand that they're movies based on the killings, based on what happens to with the Ghostface killings.
yeah, yeah,
Versus here, it's kind of like, is Jackson in those movies, or are they just basing those movies off him?
yeah, yeah. It's
There's
a
not
little.
a clear, distinct separation, I guess.
And that's kind of just where I find some of the commentary in this movie. I feel like sometimes it doesn't quite flesh out the rules of this universe
Sure.
as much as it should, maybe. But then again, I'm also kind of okay piecing it together myself. I like when movies don't talk down to the audience, so maybe if it explained more, I'd be like, well, it just explained too
Yeah.
much and it got bogged down in lore, you know? It's
I guess
kind of in
I
a
just want
weird
the
middle.
distinction of like, is Jackson in those movies, or is there actors portraying Jackson based off his killings? You know,
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so like the final shot, which is really funny, is
it's a
him.
great. I love it. It's so
It's
good.
so good. Like it's a really good final shot. Is him, you know, stand if he finds himself standing under a theater marquee that has Hand of Death Part 26 on the marquee, and he just falls to his knees and is like, "No!" Oh, you know. Um, so I don't think he's in these movies. Otherwise, he'd be aware that there was already a
Yeah,
Part 26, right? Like,
I would
I don't
assume,
know.
or are is what we're watching
The
as an
movie,
audience the movie.
yeah, that's
You
true.
know, I don't
It could
know.
be like maybe he's realizing that he's in the movie as we yeah,
All the
yeah,
time, like his life
yeah,
is the movie.
yeah. Um. Okay, so
Anyway, I don't know. It doesn't fully answer those questions, but I think there's enough to make it like I think it's super interesting. I think it's a great way to go about it. And really, this is kind of that first movie that touches on it. Like Stab and Scream doesn't come out for almost a full decade later.
yeah, it's 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
We get a really fun scene. Sam, this is your favorite scene of the movie. It's a really
Yeah.
smashing scene. Literally smashing scene. Setting up to their great like BDSM sex scene
Yeah.
is Jackson and Shelley. I have to point out here, they're having like a date night together. They're having dinner, and it has like this really bright green lighting that I thought
Mm-hmm.
stood out of like I don't know, kind of separating it from like Friday the 13th movies where you think of all of those kind of very similarly shot and not having a whole lot of visual pizzazz. Like they don't
Yeah.
really experiment with lighting, like different colored lighting too much in those.
Yeah. Well, and this one kind of takes that urban setting. Weirdly enough, a whole year before Jason Takes Manhattan. And it kind of does. I mean, it's obviously not Manhattan; it's the UK, but like
Jason
this is
Takes
very
London.
much Jason in yeah in an urban setting.
Yeah.
Which I do like that aspect, and like some of the scenes where he's just kind of moping around, walking down the city streets. Like I love that stuff. I think that stuff is really good.
I will point out, whenever they're walking down the streets, very clearly this movie did not have permits to shoot in the streets of London because there
Oh
are
yeah.
extras just staring right down the barrel of the camera.
Yep, 100%. This was definitely like here's the amateur style filmmaking on display is really fun
Fantastic.
because like it feels so homemade in like the best way. Like I'm like this is something that we would program at a film fest if it was made like this year.
Yeah.
You know, like this is it's got that it's got that scrappy we had a couple $100 and a camera quality to it. And I
It
love
has
that.
the quality of like, what if Jason Takes Manhattan didn't have to go through like the big studio system of Paramount and just went guerrilla style in Manhattan with Jason
Right.
movies.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this infamous BDSM scene with
Yeah.
Jackson and Shelley here. I want to point out what he's wearing in this scene because it's so goddamn funny. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I wrote it down because I was like, this outfit is outrageous. So he's wearing a black baseball cap.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing just bright red shorts.
Yep.
He's wearing on his shorts they say "good boy" on him.
Yep.
He's wearing black stockings with little bows on them. He's wearing just a plain black tank top, but it has like these like red bows on his shoulders. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like head to toe wearing a tank top and shorts, baseball cap, stockings, and has like bows all over it.
Yeah.
It's such an outrageous outfit.
It really is. It's truly funny. And I love how when they start he's the one that's tied up on the bed, and she's kind of whipping him and she's the dom in the situation, and he's very clearly not into it. Like, he's like, this has worked before with us, but like I can't do this, and then they switch, and he kind of comes alive a little bit more in the dom role, which is, pretty fun. But then that doesn't work out either. It's kind of just a comedy of errors scene,
Yeah.
where
They like whip out a gigantic dildo. There's
yeah.
pulls out a sex doll. There's a whip. Like
Oh
all of the
God, the
kinks.
sex doll on the door was so funny. Like,
all the
that
kinks
reveal made me laugh.
We also find out in this scene that Jackson's first time was with a counselor who was maybe not
dead.
Alive.
Yep, that was something. Like, that's the thing. I wish there was. I wish there was more of that. I wish there was more of that edge. Like, I feel like there are a lot of things said in the movie that are like, oh, that's kind of dark. Like, that's kind of interesting. And I feel like the movie never fully commits to that. Like, actually showing any of the dark stuff, which might be a budgetary thing. I don't know,
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, they didn't have enough to do, like, flashbacks to, like... go film him at a camp type of thing.
Which
I think we are just supposed to imply the Friday the 13th movies are canon to this movie.
Yeah. It's kind of insane to me, though, that, like, they shot all this in the city. They shot all this in London. I'm like, it would have been so much cheaper to do this in the woods.
Yeah.
Like,
And they eventually do. They go to the woods. The third act is like at a house party on Friday the 13th. Yeah, out in the woods.
Yeah.
So it does come full circle. I appreciate the setting, though. I think it makes it stand out, not being just a generic slasher in the woods. Like, oh, no, we're taking this character into London. We're taking Jason Voorhees into London because he's going to have a romantic relationship. And we need to, like... I mean, the whole basis of the story is him trying to integrate into society. We can't have that if it's still out in the woods in the boondocks in the middle of nowhere. So I do appreciate that. But then we do get it at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is where Nick, who is the actor, who's the wannabe actor who got attacked by Jackson earlier in the movie, decides to throw a house party on Friday the 13th.
He gets stabbed and he still won't cancel his party.
No, he still won't cancel. He gets, like, stabbed in the stomach. Like, he's, like, probably still bleeding at the party.
Like, he can barely move. Like, they get him into bed and he's like, no, we're still doing this. Yeah. And then you get another bloodbath scene.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the thing. There's a bloodbath at the start of this, there's a bloodbath at the end of this, and there's a really great BDSM scene in the middle of it.
It's great. I think it's a great Shakespearean love story right in the middle that includes a great BDSM scene.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. She's got kinks just like Jackson has kinks. Just turns out Jackson's kinks are hacking and slashing people out in the woods.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of get that in the opening where he, like, I think it's after he kills the punky Brewster, the whatever her name is. He, like, that's the first time you see him smoke after the deed, because he's, like, dancing with her and he's got a cigarette sticking out of his hockey mask hole, which is a really funny and great visual. Yeah, and it kind of hints at the necrophilia without it being, like, overt. Yeah.
I mean, again, like I said, it's his kinks versus her kinks, and it's, again, they're trying to come together. She's trying to get him to get out of this habit of being a slasher killer. Like, he thinks
they're trying to come together.
Yeah, and they're trying to come together, and he's just like, it's not going to happen. Like, it's in my nature to do this. Like, this is what I am unfortunately meant to do, as much as he continues to try to fight it throughout the movie. Yeah, there's a big bloodbath at the end of the movie. Again, great kills in this. They're so good. There's a pitchfork, a hatchet. A meat cleaver, like giant
Oh
pick.
God, yeah.
There's so many great weapons that he uses in this. I think that's another standout, especially from the later Friday the 13th movies, is all the different type of weapons that
Oh yeah,
he implements here.
yeah. The stuff that's just laying around, and I love that the opportunistic weapons, the ones that are like, well, this isn't, it's not a machete, but it's what's here, so we're gonna use it, and I
Yeah.
love that stuff.
There's a great chase sequence where I think this is the only girl, or one of the two girls, I believe, at the party. She's getting chased throughout the house. She ends up finding one of the bodies, as they do. And it's a guy, I think it's her boyfriend, that has a giant meat cleaver in his face in the bathtub. And she pulls it out of his face to use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed that I thought was super funny, for some reason, when she's in the bathroom, that bathroom's carpeted. And I'm like, 80s, what were we doing? Why were we carpeting everything? We had carpet in the bathrooms. We had carpet on our toilet seats. Like, what was going on? What were we doing?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Haven't you ever just wanted to sit down and poop and have a nice soft shag rug underneath your toes?
Under my toes, sure, but not on the seat.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't want to have to use a carpet cleaner on my seat every time I have Taco Bell. You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah, that's fair.
What
That's
were the
absolutely
80s
fair.
thinking? Yeah. Yeah. But Shelly ends up going to the party. She ends up revealing to Jackson that she's pregnant. He delivers this great monologue at the end of the movie. I wrote down, "If only there's something more. This all seems so pointless."
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just kind of going through the motions at this point. Like I'm a killer. Like what's the point of this?
Yeah. Yeah. I struggle with this ending. And maybe it's because I wanted a happy ending between the two. I wanted it to turn into some fucked up,
Sure,
they're both killers kind of romance, and that's not what I got out of it.
it's a tragedy.
And I don't know. I wish the tragedy felt like it had more weight to it. I feel like the movie is too light for it to end that way, if that makes sense.
Interesting. I don't, because I don't know. I think with a great tragedy, you get characters that you like, and it's oh shit, that sucks. And again, I think the movie does a great job of setting up Jackson as a character, Shelley as a character, and then those two together. Does a great job of that. And then at the end, when Jackson ends up slitting her throat, he kills her, and he has this great final line of, "It's a hell of a life being a monster."
Yeah.
As he's holding her, because he knows he basically knows he's destined to do this forever. It's he's kind of cursed really to do this forever, and he knows I don't really age really. I think they hint at he has supernatural abilities, at least Jason supernatural abilities where he doesn't really age or anything, and knows that the only way for them to be together is in death.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's well, if that's going to happen, I'm going to make sure it's at my hands, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a great... I think it's just such a great tragedy that, we want these characters to end up together. We want them to live a happy life where Jackson can go hack and slash people and then go home and have crazy kinky sex with his blind girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We want that.
100%.
We can't get that.
Yeah.
Then we get the great stinger at the end of the movie that we talked about already, where he's walking down the street, sees the Hand of Death, part 26. Jackson returns on the marquee and lets out a Darth Vader, "No!"
Yeah. Yeah.
And cut
George
to
Lucas
credits.
definitely saw this before Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. George Lucas was a huge fan of Unmasked Part 25. I think this is a great movie. I really do. I think it's on par or better than a majority of the Friday the 13th movies. And I love the Friday the 13th movies. I do. but there's something extra with this one. And I think it's maybe just because all of those exist, and this is so familiar yet different from those. You know what I mean? Like, it is
That's
taking
fair,
that concept of Jason falling in love. It's like, what happens when that happens? And I think that's such an interesting way to take it. A big swing that the actual Friday the 13th series never would take, because there's no way to come back from that. But
I mean, Jason went to space, Casey.
He did go to space. He didn't fall in love in space, though, Sam.
No, he did not.
He just went there. So I think with this, it's like something that the actual Friday the 13th series could never touch. So let's do this offshoot where we can be meta. We can literally do a Shakespearean tragedy with the character of Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
So for me, as we're getting to our final thoughts and ratings here, I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 sex dolls out of 5.
Hell yeah!
I think it's great. I think it's a highly recommend, worth a watch, especially if you're a fan of the Friday the 13th series. That it gives you those great kills and then gives you a subversion of the Jason story.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, what about you? How many sex dolls out of the closet are you giving this?
So I wasn't quite as high on this one as you. I did rate it 2.5, but I'm gonna bump that up to 3, just because I don't want to deter people from checking this out. I think that the parts for me never coalesced into like a whole that I was like, oh wow, this is like, I like I like the pieces. I just don't know if I liked how they all came together. Sure. But that said, like, this does take some swings, and it has some stuff that you are not going to see in other slasher parodies. Like, I truly love the opening, the end, and like, there's a lot of good stuff in the middle, as long as that drunk fucking dad's not on screen, you know?
I think he's only in like 2 or 3 scenes.
He's only in
movie.
like 2 scenes, but it just, oh god, it grinds to a halt so bad.
It does. It does.
And I don't know, yeah, like there are some great lines, like when he's talking about being a monster to his girlfriend, and she's like, "We're all monsters. First thing in the morning, I'm a terrible bitch." Like, at one point, she's like comparing him to Hitler, and I'm like, I don't know if this is the comparison you want to be making right now. That's insane. But like, I don't know. I kind of want to program this as a late night sometime.
Just because see what the reaction is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just very curious to watch this with an audience, because I think there are going to be some real crowd-pleasing moments. So yeah, I'd give this a solid. I'll give this a solid 3 out of 5 sex dolls, and tell people you should check it out. You should check it out for sure.
All right, well, that is Unmasked Part 25, the first part of our 2-part Friday the 13th ripoff double feature. Let's get to our first ad read of the show here. Help!
Send help!
Send help, not the movie. Send actual help, because the Basement Boys are trapped in an abandoned amusement park and need your help. The best way to help these fun-loving horror fiends is by joining Patreon. Yes, by joining our Patreon, you get bonus perks that cannot be found anywhere else, including monthly bonus podcasts, vlogs from our horror collections, and exclusive movie reviews. Each subscription to Patreon helps the Basement Boys escape Old Man Marley's amusement park, and you can join by scanning the QR code on the screen right now, or visit patreon.com/Screams from the Basement. Link in the episode description as well.
Hell yeah.
I that was not a great ad read. That was the first time reading through it. I probably should have read through it beforehand, but hey, we got through it. We got through it.
Nah, they get the point. Join our Patreon.
Join our Patreon. It helps us a lot. It helps us more than you can imagine.
Yes. 100%.
All right. Sam, you ready to get to movie number 2 of this double feature?
I am, absolutely. Let's do this.
All right. So movie number 2 coming out. This is what, 30 years later? 2018's You Might Be the Killer. Directed by Brett Simmons. Written by Louis Burzon, Thomas Vitale, and Brett Simmons. Not heard of these names. Pretty relatively unknown crew behind the scenes of You Might Be the Killer.
Yeah.
But in front of the camera, there are some faces that you will recognize, including Fran Kranz from Cabin in the Woods, who plays
Yeah.
Sam. Hey, we know him. He's the lead
Hey.
camp counselor. Alyson Hannigan from The American Pie and Buffy the Vampire Slayer series. She plays Chuck, Sam's horror-obsessed best friend. Brittany S. Hall is Amani as Sam's summer fling, and Jenna Harvey as Jamie, the final girl. Sam, what is You Might Be the Killer?
Well, the owner and operator of a summer camp calls his super cool and very super chill friend, who is at work, for advice on how to stop and or survive a killing spree. But through their conversations, he slowly begins to realize that he might be the killer he's running from.
You might be the killer.
killer.
You might be the killer.
So,
Sam, this was your pick. This was one of those
This was my
episodes where
pick.
we each picked a movie in this double feature. Unmasked Part 25 was mine. This one's yours.
yes. Yes. So, okay, I'm aware that I like this movie quite a bit more than I think most people do, but I do find it very, very charming and fun. I remember back when the Twitter thread that this is based on went viral, and it was like literally the two writers who were doing who were basically just riffing and having a conversation that was like, it was almost like Jeff Foxworthy, like, if you
might
find
be the
yourself,
killer if.
yeah, yeah, exactly, like you might be the killer. And I remember like laughing through most of that thread back before Twitter became a toxic cesspool of nothing.
Wasn't
You know?
Chuck Wendig one of the people in that thread? That's what I saw in my
I'm pretty sure
research.
he was, yeah.
Okay.
And because yeah, like a ton of big people were like either retweeting it or even joining in, and it was just like it was kind of a viral thing, and I remember that being hilarious and just like and reading along. And then like I don't know, maybe a year or two later this movie came out and I was like, what the fuck? They literally made this into a movie. Um and you know, Fran Kranz has been a favorite of mine ever since Cabin in the Woods. I've always loved Alyson Hannigan, watching the American Pie movies, How I Met Your Mother. Like, she's fantastic. And so, between all of that, I was pumped for this. Yeah, I bought this on digital, and in 2018, I watched this movie a lot. It was like a comfort movie for me. Um, and so yeah, I love this one. I know you didn't care for it as much as I do, which is fine. We'll get into it. But yeah, I dig this weird little gem.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at like this era of horror, especially because you had right around this same time, like pre-COVID, you had from like 2015, 2016 till about 2019, that like 4 year span, 3 or 4 year span, where you had like these slasher parody movies, a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
You had like The Final Girls, you had You Might Be the Killer, you had the Tragedy Girls,
Yeah,
all coming out.
Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day. Scout's
Freaky
Guide to the
was
Zombie Apocalypse, I would
2020, but yeah. Scout's Guide. And I love that era of horror. Like, I am a big horror comedy fan. Like, all of those movies you mentioned, big fan of them. So,
I like a lot of them. I'm particularly a big fan of Tragedy Girls. I love the the Final Girls. I think it's great too. I think, but both of them do the parody side of this better than this one does. For me, my biggest problem with You Might Be the Killer is that it's a feature film. If this
and not
was
a short.
if this was a 20-minute short, 30-minute short, I'd be like, yes, this is perfect. We get like at that 20-minute mark, we figure out, oh, this guy's the killer, and then like 10 minutes of like the resolution. Like, I think that's, or even in a super short film, you do the reveal. If you do like a 10-minute short, you do it at the end of, oh, he's the killer.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately for this, I feel like we learn as an audience member, like 15, 20 minutes into the movie, he's the killer, and it's like, I don't know, kind of takes any of the meta aspects out of it for me in a way.
Yeah,
And
it's a bold move to make that reveal. That I mean, even though it's in the title, like it's
yeah,
a
and it's like I thought there was going to be a like second twist to the movie though in the third act, and there's not.
not really, no. The big twist is that like he didn't even put the haunted mask on himself. It was like
Is that a twist
you know,
though?
but it's not. Yeah, it's not really a twist. It's just
Yeah.
more of like the reveal is that like, oh, he truly is just a victim in this. You know.
I kept waiting for that twist, especially jumping all the way to the end of the movie. We're left with basically like two final girls fighting over who's going to be the final girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, here comes the twist of one of them was actually doing the killings this whole time. And
Yeah.
like he like was just hallucinating this stuff because of the mask or something like that.
I
And we don't
will
get that
say,
reveal.
I think the third act of this movie is probably the weakest,
Yes.
but I think the final stinger is really fun.
I don't, because
2 years
it
later,
doesn't
time jump.
like we're never getting a sequel to this.
Oh, I don't want a sequel to this.
Yeah.
I think that it's one of those things that's like a sequel tease that you never want followed up on, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like, I'm trying to think of other movies, and like I said, my brain is mush this week, so I'm not coming up with any relatable
Yeah, the
scenarios.
movies
but,
where
like,
you
know
get a
those.
sequel tease, but you're like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom
Like,
Cruise is the Mummy. Yeah.
I mean, there was supposed to be a sequel to that.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
I watched the movie, saw the stinger. I'm like, I don't want to see
Yeah.
that sequel.
That's absolutely fair. I have a soft spot for that movie, and I don't think I ever wanted to see it.
Listen, I like Dracula Untold, and that one has a stinger for a sequel. So
That's true, yeah. Dracula Untold, aka Goth Captain America.
I added a double feature to our list, and it might include Dracula Untold and the Mummy.
Oh, okay. I was like, is it Dracula Untold and Captain America the First Avenger? Because
No.
they're the same movie.
They are the same movie. No, at some point we're going to do a double dose of Dark Universe on this podcast. Anyway,
yeah.
back to You Might Be the Killer.
Yes.
Another thing I was curious about, curious to get your thoughts on,
Okay.
is when I was looking up the movie, like trivia of it, it says Alyson Hannigan only worked on the movie for 2 days. Now, having seen the movie, I understand why.
Yep.
Because she's in this great store. This is my favorite part. Is I think she's fantastic in this movie.
Because it reminds you of Ray's, doesn't it?
What's that?
Does it remind you of Ray's in Des Moines?
Jay's. Shout out Jay's CD and
Jay's,
Hobby.
god damn it. I never get it right.
You never do. That's right. This the store in this movie is called the Rings of Saturn. Great name for a comic book pop culture store.
Yep.
The entire time I was like looking in the background of like
Yeah.
all these like action figures and movie posters and comic books and anything
Yep.
a nerd would want. Yeah, I wanna visit that store. It definitely is a real store that they shot in. So I wanna find that store. It was just I was kind of hoping Alyson Hannigan showed up in the third act of the movie.
Oh. Yeah, see, I think I knew from the start, even watching this for the first time, I'm like, she's not going to make it to the camp. Like, she's 100% just the person on the phone for this movie. And I was okay with that.
It's a little misleading in the poster, not gonna lie.
Yeah, the poster, I will give you that. The poster's a little misleading. But like I said, I love the Rings of Saturn store set. Like, I think she's great as Chuck.
She's
I think
fantastic.
I think she's like the most, like, Casey, if you called me while I was at the theater and were saying half of the shit that Sam says to Chuck, I'd be like, brother, you need help. Like, you need to call the police and stop bugging me over.
Okay, it makes me wonder. These two are best friends. Obviously, she's a huge horror fan. Chuck is.
Yes.
Alyson Hannigan. And we are to assume that they have watched these horror movies together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how does he not know these rules?
Well, I mean, you know, like, there are people who watch horror with other people but aren't necessarily horror horror people. Like
Sure.
I would put myself in that category in like middle school, early high school, where like I hung out with a lot of friends who watched tons of horror movies, but I didn't know the rules of any. If I found myself in a horror movie at age 12, I probably would have not known what the fuck was going on. Whereas now, 20
But he
years
doesn't know what
later,
a final girl is. Like,
okay, that's maybe a little bit.
that was my
Sure.
biggest one. That was the biggest one. Where it's like, you don't know what a final girl is, how this works, how this is going to end. Like he tells
Yeah.
he tells the campfire story of the curse on the camp.
Well, and you could even argue that maybe that's like denial from him, like where he's like, no, I don't, no, that's not how this has to go. But
He seems
yeah,
oblivious to the concept.
yeah,
The camp has the name Camp Clear Vista, obviously a riff on Camp Crystal Lake.
yep.
My favorite character in this movie, though, I don't know if your favorite character is not one of those two. I assume Sam is your favorite character because of.
I mean, I love Sam. I
Fran
absolutely do. Yeah.
I like him. I think his best work is in Cabin. I don't even like Cabin in the Woods, and I think that's his best.
Oh, I think
work.
that's his best performance too. Like he's so good.
Yeah,
That and the poop episode of It's Always Sunny.
that's right.
I just
But my
wanted to look
favorite
at some
character in
poop.
this is Steve the Kayak King.
Yes, the kayak king.
He's the best. They're canoes.
They're canoes. So like the kayak king gag gets me every time. It's one of my favorite things. Like every time Sam sees him, he has to call him the kayak king. You get that early reveal where he's like, dude, they're canoes. But every time you bring up Steve, Fran Kranz is always there with the kayak king.
I feel like, especially when Steve gets lines of dialogue, a lot of
yeah.
his stuff is improv.
It has to be. The like speech that he's giving the camp counselors
Teaching
in
the
the
kids
flashback.
how to use the paddle. He's like, it could be
Yeah.
a golf thingy,
Yeah. Yeah, he's fantastic.
or the greatest air guitar you could ever have.
Yeah. But it's not for hitting. Don't hit.
But then, okay, I'm not trying to be negative here.
Yeah.
I apologize that I will be negative here for a second though.
Okay.
Besides Steve the Kayak King and Imani, who is the summer fling from last year of Sam,
Yeah.
the rest of the camp counselors,
Oh, they're nobodies.
bunch of nobodies.
They're very Friday the 13th in the fact that like none of them have any personalities except for they just kind of want to make out and smoke pot in the woods. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's where
But even our final
Here's where
girl,
I'll-
like in those movies, we spend
So-
time with the final girl, right?
I mean sometimes. Like you barely know Alice from the first Friday the 13th. She shows up at the beginning, she's largely not in the second act, and then she shows up at the end and like
Sure.
kills Mrs. Voorhees, right?
Good,
And I think that there's
like good final girls. You get time with them.
yes. But I
You
think
don't
part
in
of the
this one.
joke here is like when Chuck is telling him Jamie's the final girl, he's like, that girl? No way. She's like the sweet like and I think the joke for me or why that's funny to me is like this is a girl that literally like we haven't had a second thought about on the movie and neither has Sam. Like Sam does not she's not a threat to him, which is like the trope.
Sure. That's where I was waiting for the twist of like, oh, there's something gonna clever happen here in the third act.
Well,
with
I mean,
this
she
character.
fucking has a dark side. She kills the other girl.
After the other
just
girl
to be the
first turns
final
on
girl.
her, she doesn't do the turning. That's part of my problem.
Okay, that's fair.
I wish she had that dark turn of like, I'm gonna make sure I'm the final girl then.
Oh, I mean, I think she kind of has like Sam's trying to like help and get them both out of that camp alive, and I mean, spoilers for the end, she fucking kills him.
Well, I mean, there's
Like,
no other
while
way
his
to-
back is
She-
turned.
she's in the right there.
I don't,
I don't think
so.
that's a dark turn.
I like Sam.
Yeah. I do too. No. I do. I like we're supposed to like him, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't at the end be like, oh, like she's the bad guy now because she killed him. Like, yeah, she's the final girl. He's the slasher killer. You set that up in the movie. That's how it has to go. You got to
Yeah.
subvert that somehow. And I wish it subverted it in a way. I just don't think it does.
That's fair. That's fair.
One thing I do like, though, that I was not expecting.
Title
the
cards?
Positive. What's that?
Was it the title cards?
No, positives.
Damn it. Fuck you. I like the title cards.
I don't know. They felt a little too gimmicky for me.
That's what this whole movie is gimmick.
Yeah,
it's a
but
gimmick movie.
I don't know. The thing I like though, we can jump back to the title cards because there is one specifically that I think is clever because we get those title cards like the entire movie of like
it's how you they're showcasing the passage of time through how many dead counselors there are.
Dead counselors right now 0. Dead counselors right now 13.
Yeah, and it jumps around because this is like a very non-linear story as he's like piecing it together. Yeah.
My favorite one though is when we think a character dies.
Oh,
they get the title card, and then when it's like revealed that they're back to life, it like crosses that number out, and it's like instead of 9, 8 or whatever.
Yeah, and then the character dies like a scene later,
and then they cross it out again.
Crosses out again and puts the original number back.
One thing I like though was the mask. And I think that's something that horror movies don't touch on enough. Is the mask
the evil
being
Groot mask?
Like masks being origins of evil. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like way back,
I love that.
In a way, you can go all the way back to Carpenter's original Halloween and being Michael Myers' guy who wears this plain-faced mask, and it somehow, some way, gives him that ultimate power.
Yeah,
and David Gordon Green kind of touches on it, like sort of teases it in the sequel trilogy. But here it's like full on, like, no, that mask is evil. If you put that mask on, you become evil.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of Jim Carrey's The Mask. Not only is it a wooden mask, but it like changes the person.
Very much so. Yeah.
So I appreciated that. I don't think we get enough slashes where it does that concept.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna. I didn't. So I've heard people not like The Mask. They're like, oh, it just looks like Evil Groot. And I'm like, it does, but it's cool as shit. Like, The Mask to me is one of the best parts of this movie. Like, I love the look of the killer. I love the freaking, like, satanic looking weird weapon with the teeth on it. Like, the sharp. I don't know.
It looks like Psycho Gorman's weapon.
It does, kind of. Like, I think the killer design is great, and it's even better because it's like that mask and that weapon, but on Fran Kranz in a hoodie, you know. Which I know he's not the actual actor who plays the killer, but yeah,
they do a great job. Yeah, I agree. I do like the look of the killer in this. I like the mask a lot. I like the weapon. It's a cool, unique weapon. And also, like, whenever it's the killer stalking and slashing people with the hoodie on and the backpack and the mask and the sword, it's like, oh, that is a menacing character. It looks like Jason Voorhees, like a big, burly man is coming after you.
Yeah.
And then when he has the mask off, obviously it's scrawny, skinny Fran Kranz.
Yeah.
So it's they do a great job of interweaving the two. Of, like, when he puts the mask on, he almost literally becomes a different person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, physically even becomes a different person.
So, I gotta ask, because I have a favorite kill in this. I love this kill, but I want to know what your favorite kill is.
Sure. I don't know if I wrote one down. What was your favorite kill?
My favorite kill is the fucking freezer door. When the two camp counselors are, like, in the kitchen trying to score all the s'mores ingredients before everybody else does, and the one guy gets, skewered as he's, like, shoving his mouth full of marshmallows, and then the girl gets, like, he knocks her into the freezer and, like, decapitates her with the freezer door. And I think the cinematography in it and the angles that they choose to, like, the angles that they choose to frame it is just really interesting and dynamic. And I love it. I think it's the best kill of the movie. I love that sequence.
I think mine is pretty early on in the movie. It's when the couple is like making out in the pool, and then you
Oh
get the
yeah.
dude that gets like split in half.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. And then at the end you get what's his character? Brad the jock. He's
Oh
about to like sneak up on Sam to take him out while Sam's like
yeah.
doing jumps and dives onto the mask to try to destroy it.
Yeah.
And he like sneaks up on him, and the mask comes back on to Sam, and he like takes the sword and chops his hands off.
Yeah.
And, like
That
part
part
of
is
his like
great.
arms go flying in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that scene too. Also just Steve the Kayak King's death is really kind of funny because it's like he strings him up and he just starts hacking him and he just keeps hacking him, and at one point the title card comes back up and it says dead counselors still 6. Because yeah, you know,
He was already dead. Yeah.
he was already dead, but like he's just continuing to kill him. And I don't know, I love that. I love when he comes to and he looks over and he goes, Steve, the Kayak King. Like every time it never fails. Like you can't say Steve without the Kayak King moniker after it. And it's, I don't know. It's just stupid shit like that that like presses my funny buttons, you know?
Yeah, I do love. I also love with the mask that they set up. You can't really destroy it because like
Mm-hmm.
at one point, pretty early on in the movie, like right after we find out he's the killer,
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, I got to destroy the mask then because that's what's causing all this." And he throws it into a fire pit and
Mm-hmm.
lights it on fire, and like his face starts burning.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
like they're
love that.
interconnected. I think that's good stuff. And yeah, when he starts
There's a little
jumping on it
pumpkin
later in
head
the
in it.
movie, it like starts like caving his face in almost.
Yeah. Oh God, it's such good physical comedy from Kranz because he'll, like you said, he's like on a bench and he takes a flying leap off of it and stomps on the mask with both feet and immediately like falls backwards with his hands on his face like he just got kicked. And it's, I don't know, it's one of my favorite scenes too, is him just out on the dock trying to smash this mask, and really he's just beating himself up.
One
Um,
thing I'm curious to get your thoughts on, and I think this is like the only time this character ever does anything in this movie, is
mhm.
after Sam tells the story about the Carver, which basically their killer story is that out in the woods there was this wood carver who made a mask from a tree, and like this tree is like has like some sort of spiritual quality to it, like it's an evil tree basically.
Mhm.
So Sam and this other counselor, I don't even know if I wrote their name down, they go out into the woods and they find the wood carver's
Oh, yeah, it's
grave.
Drew. Drew is the girl he's with.
Yeah, it's like the one scene she's in.
Yeah,
um
yeah.
and for some reason they kind of set up like, oh, she wants to sleep with Sam apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a very
I mean,
underdeveloped, and it's
they're
kind of just
they're
there to be like, oh, she's gonna be the one that puts the mask on him.
yeah.
I
I
would
mean,
rather
they're
have.
horny camp counselors, dude.
Yeah, but why should he? Like, I don't know. You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be
Um,
negative, but I am being negative. I know. I
you're
just
thinking
wish it was
you're
his.
thinking way too hard.
No, I just wish it was his undoing. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, he goes out there, finds the mask, and, like, is looking at it. And even, like, if he's, like, about to walk back to camp with it and trips and it falls on his face or something. Like, I wish
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean, that'd be
his
funny
own
too.
undoing. Yeah, it could have been. Instead, it's just her putting it on him.
Yeah. I don't know. I like that cuz it absolves Sam the person of like what Sam the killer is doing.
I think
And there's
either
a
way
like
it does.
weird dichotomy. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Like he's already calling his best friend to be like, how do I stop myself from doing this?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
I wish it
so
was his own undoing that caused his demise in a way.
that's fair. That's fair. Um, we should also talk about how they do try and call the cops, which is also another really funny gag where he goes, I called the sheriff in the nearest town, which is 25 miles away, but he's old, and he probably turns his phone off at night, so I just left a voicemail. And then later, when he gets back a hold of Chuck after some time, like he hangs up on her because the mask gets put back on his face, and she's freaking out, and he finally calls her back, and she answers, and she's like, I was so worried, I even called the sheriff. I had to leave a voicemail. And he goes, God, that guy really should just retire. And then at the end, it's a voice cameo by Keith David, who calls him back. And yeah, I don't know. The sheriff gag is funny. I like it.
There's a pretty funny line of dialogue, too. Like the first time where he's like, yeah, we're 25 miles away from anything. And Alyson Hannigan's, well, where are you? We're 25 miles away from anything.
Yeah, it's like, how far off the grid did you go? 25 miles, I just told you. Yeah, I don't know. This movie is... And then, yeah, so the two final girls happen because Amani fakes her death, which that's not really explained. She just all of a sudden pops up and she's like, no, I fell in the steak pit, but I'm fine. And, And, like, obviously the actual final girl, Jamie, ends up killing her as they scuffle over who's going to be the actual final girl who can kill Chuck. And then Sam. And then Jamie kills Sam while Sam is on the phone with Chuck. And she picks up Sam's phone, tells Chuck, hey, like, I did it. It's done. And Chuck's just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, you just killed my fucking friend, bitch. But, like, you know, she understands, I guess. But then, like, you get that flash to like, Chuck earlier had mentioned, like, you know, you're probably going to be undead after this. Like, lightning will strike your grave and you'll come back to kill again, even after you die. And so there's, like, the funny flashback. 2 years later, you hear the lightning going, and you cut back to Rings of Saturn. Chuck hears the phone ringing, and she goes and she picks it up, and it's Sam, and he's back from the dead. And I don't know, I love it. I love the cut to black on it. It's funny to me. I like it. It reminds me of, I mean, it makes me wonder what Jason's first phone call was in part 6, you know?
Called Tommy, and he's like, Tommy, I'm back.
So I don't know, I love this movie. I love the stinger at the end. I love the end credits song. It is such a fucking banger. It is like, oh my god, it's perfect synthy goodness. And I want everybody who listens to this podcast to go check out this movie. But if Casey's Wet Blanket makes you not, at least go listen to the fucking song. Because it rules.
The song is on YouTube. The song is on YouTube. It's a great song. I will say, if anything, it does have a banger end credit song.
Yeah, it's on every single one of my Halloween playlists. You'll probably hear it at Screams by Night this year. But yeah, that's You Might Be the Killer. Casey, what do you have any final thoughts and rating and all that?
Yeah, so I don't know if I can recommend the movie as a whole, though.
That's fair.
I think there are bits that are clever and fun. I think the concept is a really fun one of like, oh, what if our main character that we're following throughout the movie is the slasher villain? And he knows he's the slasher villain, but doesn't want to be the slasher. I think that's a super interesting concept. That just kind of, unfortunately, just like runs out of steam and aren't enough clever twists and turns to keep at least me interested throughout the runtime. Again, if this was a 10 to 20 minute short, I think this would be a killer short film. I think it'd be super fun. I do think the especially the two main cast members, Fran, Kranz, and Alyson Hannigan, are really fun. I think some of the other actors are not great in the movie.
Again, very much like Friday the 13th.
Sure. I don't like to pick on acting too much, but unfortunately a final girl character is pretty bad in this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I unfortunately can't recommend the movie. I think there are other versions of this type of concept that I would recommend, like The Final Girls or Tragedy Girls, that do a very similar concept, just better, in my opinion. But I'm going to give this, what are we giving this rating out of? It's our clever concept for this one.
How many out of 5 kayaks you give him this?
I give this 2 out of 5 Kayak Kings is where I'm at, unfortunately. Yeah, it's on that lower level of just didn't work for me. 2 out of 5 Kayak Kings. Sam, what about you?
Well, I double your rating with 4 out of 5 Kayak Kings. I truly love this one. I understand the criticisms. Like, it does get repetitive. The pacing could be tightened up a little bit. I don't know. I think this one really, really gets by on the charm of its 2 leads. And I love watching them in these roles. I love the kills. I think they're brutal. I think some of the practical gore on display is amazing.
Yeah, that's something we didn't touch on very much. But yeah, the practical gore, we get to see a lot of the kills. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, this one to me is just, it's a fucking banger. And I like, it's slight. It's not as meaty as some of the other ones that we've mentioned in this conversation. But I don't know. I love it as just kind of easy breezy viewing. And, yeah, a solid 4 out of 5 for me. So 50% on the Screams from the Basement tomatoes. And I like plenty of 50% movies, so check it out, bitches.
Or don't. I don't know. No, check it. I mean, yeah, if you want to follow along with us, check it out. It's easier to find than Unmasked Part 25, that's for sure.
That is true. Very, very much easier to find. But
all right. Well, that is our Friday the 13th rip-off double feature here on the show. Again, we might do this with one of the other 2 Friday the 13th this year. We'll see. We'll find out as the year goes on. But Sam, why don't you go ahead and give us that second ad read of the show?
yeah, well, thank you to Fangoria, because Fangoria for over 40 years has been the leading source in horror for all things spooky, horrific, and macabre. The famed magazine is back with a vengeance each quarter with brand new issues of Fangoria magazine featuring interviews, retrospectives, and insight into the world of horror. We have an exclusive offer for our listeners to save 20% off their subscription to the magazine, the latest Fango merch, and so much more. You can visit shop.fangoria.com/screamsfromthebasement or use promo code. You have to do both. And use promo code screamsfromthebasement at checkout, again, to save 20% off of that order. Thanks to Fangoria for helping support the show. Casey?
Yes, sir.
Fangoria has been thanked.
They have.
We talked 2 weeks ago about the best Fangoria cover ever with Rachel McAdams swinging a bloody golf club on it. So we don't need to bring that up again, but I feel like
we will bring that up again.
Yeah. It's a great cover for a great movie. Which leads me to my next question. What have you been doing lately?
So we're going to start things off with, no, we won't. I'll wait. I'll wait for Send Help. That can be our main event. Spoilers.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of crossover here on our what we've been Scooby-Dooby doing. First things first here, I will throw out, last time we talked, I mentioned I watched Silent Hill. Because Silent Hill returns, or Return to Silent Hill? Return to Silent Hill. Right?
Return to Silent Hill, I think.
Just hit theaters and was out of theaters in just as fast of time. I am looking forward to watching that. So I kind of kept my Silent Hill little mini series going on here. Watch Silent Hill Revelations for the first time. I thought I had maybe seen this before, but I had not seen Silent Hill Revelations 3D before. This one's horrible. I don't know if you've ever seen this one. It's so bad. So this came out in 2012. The first one, I believe, was 05, 06. So pretty decent amount of time passed between the two. This has none of what made that first movie great. That first movie is just super atmospheric. You get great monsters throughout the whole movie. Really feels like you're immersed in the world of Silent Hill in that 0506 version, the original version. This one just feels like a bunch of like fan fiction slop. Like the acting is like super bad. There's a really bad script where it kind of like we're in the real world maybe too much. So the basic story is the young girl from the first movie. She's now a teenager, played by a different actress, and her dad, Sean Bean, warns her never go to Silent Hill, because that's the whole thing of these movies. Never go to Silent Hill. And then you have what's his name from Game of Thrones shows up here.
Kit Harington?
Kit Harington, yeah.
I just took a wild guess. I had no idea he was in this movie.
Yeah, Kit Harington shows up. He's like her love interest. Turns out he's like a spy for the people of Silent Hill. And in that cast, with like no screen time, is Carrie-Anne Moss from the Matrix movies.
Okay.
And Malcolm McDowell is in this movie.
Oh my god.
In one scene. Completely wastes him. The main actress is not very good in this. The special effects are somehow worse than the first movie that came out almost a decade earlier. The only cool part, really, and the only part I could recommend is maybe like finding YouTube clips of Pyramid Head. Because that's the coolest character in my opinion. Super cool design. It's about the only positive quality I can give Revelations. So if you are going to go through these series, just skip this one, because like it doesn't matter. You don't need to watch it.
Fair.
And then a new release, before we get to some more new releases here in a minute, I have a review up for this now on screamsfromthebasement.com.
Yeah.
Little plug ski for this movie called Bad Voodoo. So this came out from Desk Pop Entertainment. That's the team that brought you Screamboat, the main one. A few other movies we'll review on the website coming up there. But basically, this is about a group of escaped convicts that overtake this woman's house after escaping from prison. And they basically hold her hostage inside of her own home while they try to figure out what to do. All the while, this woman has been practicing voodoo, and we get like a big reveal of like, oh, they're not actually capturing her, she's captured them. So great little twist on kind of like home invasion type movies, but with a voodoo twist. This is that classic like Haitian voodoo, like the one
so
I always
black magic, don't breathe.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. On a super low budget, like this is next to no budget. There's not a whole lot of money in this. I thought it was super cool. The entire movie's presented in a 4x3 picture frame, you know? You have black bars on the side of the screen. So it really makes this movie like super immersive, because the entire movie takes place in this house. Like we never leave the house. So like super immersive. I think it's a really fun, like zero budget horror film. Definitely worth checking out for people who like voodoo movies. I don't think we get a whole lot of those anymore. Like there's voodoo, like there's actual voodoo dolls and voodoo magic and like classic voodoo zombies in this movie. So I think if you're into that type of horror movie, you want to see more of that, check out Bad Voodoo. That is on digital and VOD right now.
Sweet.
And then we have crossovers here. So Sam, I don't know if you want to throw out any of yours that are not crossovers before we get to our crossovers.
Yeah, I will, absolutely.
So I'll ask then, Sam, besides the stuff we've both been doobie doing, what have you been doobie doing?
So I got sick the first week that we had 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple at the Twin, and I did not get to it until our very last screening of this movie, which we sold very few tickets for, which seems to be the story nationwide. And Casey, I'm going to tell you, it really flopped, and I'm gonna tell you that's a fucking bummer because I'm calling my shot now. I'm putting it on the podcast. This is you can go back to this episode and listen at the end of the year and see if I'm still correct. If I have a different number one at the end of the year than 28 years later, The Bone Temple, I will be fucking shocked because I cannot tell you how much I loved this movie. It is I the poster's already up behind me. I love this movie so much. It was so brutal and so heartfelt and so nihilistic and somehow balanced all of those things into a movie that by the end I had full body chills. There is a scene set to an Iron Maiden needle drop that made my soul leave my fucking body. Like, The Bone Temple is one of the best horror movies I've seen in the probably this decade. I will say it. It is one of the best horror movies that I've seen in this decade. I adored it. I think the performances from Ralph Fiennes, from Chai Lewis Perry as Samson, from fucking Jack O'Connell putting in a second iconic villain performance after he already, really fucking nailed it in Sinners. Jesus Christ, dude. Nia DaCosta takes this franchise and she makes it enough of her own to warrant it's just incredible. The sense of humor that she brings to it is so disarming because it's not quippy Marvel humor. It's not people making, jokes just to have jokes. It comes from the characters and the situations they're in and the fucked up circumstances of living in a post-apocalyptic world. And it's somehow so funny while you are watching martyrs level brutality at times. Fucking immaculate. I loved this movie. I will be singing the praises of this one all goddamn year. If you missed it in theaters because it's already getting pulled out of all of them, oh my god, I feel bad for you. Talk to me. We'll set you up at the Coyote Twin when it comes out for a rental. Because you want it, everybody needs to see this on the biggest fucking screen with the biggest fucking speakers possible. I love it. I love it so much. It is why you go to the fucking movie theaters. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, #1 movie of 2026. I don't think it's gonna change. And you can quote me on that.
I missed it. I haven't watched the movie yet. This is one Kayla wants to watch, so we did not. She's very adamant of, I don't want to go to the theaters right now. I don't blame her, especially
that's fair.
Cinemark theaters.
Look, Cinemark is not
we will watch it as soon as it hits streaming VOD. So it is very high on my watch list for sure.
Yeah.
And I know the story of the Jimmies, what that's based on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have watched many documentaries on that. So I'm like, what are they going to do with that? That's crazy.
It's fucked. It's it's so good.
Yeah.
I won't say anymore. I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. I think you're both going to fucking love it. It's truly just it's amazing. It's fucking amazing. I also, last thing I did other than the stuff we've be done together. Saturday mornings used to be for, cartoons and Cookie Crisp and stuff. Scooby-Doo, yeah. Nowadays, Saturdays are usually for housework and chores and things like that. But they're also for zombie movies to put on while you're doing house chores and work. So I rewatched Day of the Dead for the first time since I watched it for our mystery late night in October. I threw it on. Partially because there's segments of 28 years later, The Bone Temple, that very much reminds me of Day of the Dead, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you watch it. You can probably already infer it from the trailers. But I love Day of the Dead. It's so good.
Yeah.
It is my favorite Romero zombie movie, and I can say that now on a rewatch definitively. It just works for me on every level. I think it is I mean, I think all three of his movies, the Night, Dawn, Day, I think all of them are perfect. I think Day is just slightly more perfect than the other two, and I really love it. It was a great way to start my Saturday morning. That ended with a bunch of like 90s comedies on VHS, like Baby's Day Out and George of the Jungle. I don't know how I got from Day of the Dead to fucking Baby's Day Out by the end of the day, but that's where the day went.
That's
So
where it went. That's where it took you.
yeah. But other than that, I've been doing a lot of the same stuff as you, man. So let's get into it.
Let's jump into what Joe Bob was doing on the last drive-in this past weekend. He was doing Haunted House Night on the last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs. The first movie, we're not going to go too deep into this because we already did. Yeah. It was House on Haunted Hill. People were speculating what kind of classic haunted house movie, because Joe Bob hinted that he was surprised they've never covered it on one of these movies on the last drive-in. So people were kind of speculating what movie was it going to be, and luckily it was House on Haunted Hill. So it was a rewatch for both of us within the last couple of months. Man, I bumped this up to 5 stars. That might have been the Joe Bob bump, but it was a great presentation. Yeah. Great presentation. What a perfect movie though. Like it just is. It's just a perfect horror movie to watch on a late night. Heck, it's a perfect horror. Like you get a different vibe if you watch it at like 10 o'clock at night with Joe Bob, or you watch it at 10 a.m. with a bowl of cereal. Like, yeah, I feel like it works both. Yeah. You get a different experience both times. It's so interesting. I think only someone like William Castle could do that. It is the definition of an anytime movie, for sure. Like, it's so good. Also, like, I mean, I know we brought it up, how, like, kind of charming and funny Vincent Price is in this movie, but, like, I always imbibe a little when Joe Bob happens, you know, I usually have a little THC drink and get a little loose. I was laughing so hard at some of Vincent Price's line readings in this movie, like, he's really fucking funny. Yeah, I really liked this. And then Joe Bob followed it up with a movie that, again, we're just gonna have to vehemently disagree on. He followed it up with Ty West, The Innkeepers, a movie we've also discussed on this podcast. A movie that, again, I love a lot, and you rate 2 stars. And I fluctuated this time between 1.5 and 2 stars, and I felt like, the 1.5 was like, yeah, I don't like this movie. I mean, I get it. And I've tried. This is like the 4th. I think it's like the 4th time I've watched The Innkeepers, and it just doesn't. And I love Ty West, like, and I love slow burns. Everybody talks about this movie being a slow burn. I'm like, House of the Devil's a slow burn, but I think that movie just captivates me the entire time. The Innkeepers does not. I'm not captivated by like almost anything in this movie, unfortunately. I like the actors a lot. I like the mumble gore type aspect of their acting performances, but the movie as a whole just doesn't work for me. And I think I'm at the point where I'm like, it's probably just not going to, unfortunately. Yeah. I want it to, but it's just not going to. That's fair. This movie to me honestly gets better with every watch, and I love the characters. So maybe that's what it is. Like, I'm just so drawn to, like, characters that I love and like hanging out with, which is, again, I also why I like Healy You Might Be the Killer so much. An insufferable prick and like everything. He is, so 100%. I don't like watching him then. You know? Oh, he's the funnest. I don't know. There have been jobs I've been at where I've been a Pat Healy in this movie. I don't know. I really like Pat Healy in The Innkeepers, but I mean, the movie to me belongs to Sarah Paxton. I think she's so goddamn good in it, and like, there's a scene that is part of the like slow burn, nothing happens aspect of this movie, where she takes trash out to the dumpster and cannot get it in, and I mean, I say this as someone who's worked a lot of custodial jobs. That scene is so relatable and so funny every goddamn time, because like, I have been there a bunch. But I don't know. I love this movie. I love the whole vibe.
I love how fucking sad it is at the end. It's just, I'm shocked Joe Bob played it, to be honest with you, especially second. Um, this felt on par with him opening his all-night marathon with Slumber Party Massacre and then immediately following it up with When Evil Lurks. Like, it kind of felt that level, and you know me, I loved when he played When Evil Lurks second in his all-night marathon, and I loved that he played the Innkeepers.
Also, I just have to say this. Joe Bob, love you. We love the show. The Innkeepers isn't a haunted house movie. It's a haunted hotel movie.
That is also fair.
Just had to throw that out there.
Yeah.
We also made our own little double feature at the Coyote Twin. Both of us went and watched 2 brand new horror films in theaters right now, raking up at the box office, both of these movies. We'll start things off with Markiplier and the Iron Lung.
Yep.
I think we both gave this
pretty low rating.
Pretty low rating. Almost as low as you can go. I won't say much because I don't want to poo-poo on people that like this. It was not for me at all. I literally checked my watch about a half hour in and was like, Jesus Christ, there's an hour and a half left of this movie. It felt like an hour had already passed. I don't know. I'll say this. I don't care for pretty much anything in the movie, really. I don't think it's a very good movie at all. But I will say I'm happy people are going to it. I'm happy it's making money because this helps more of these type of movies getting made. And by these type of movies, I mean independent, creator-driven movies. There's literally the movie, we watched it. The movie just starts. There's not a single production company before the movie. It's just boom, black screen, and then we're into it. Like, there's zero production company in front of it. Like, this is as indie as you can ever get with a movie. Completely funded by Markiplier himself. He seems like an awesome dude. Like, obviously super popular. So, I think that's a great indication of what we might get more of, is these creator-driven movies of, like, we can do this outside of the studio system completely. Not even my own fake production company that I have to make for this movie. It's just no production company. It's just me hiring a crew of people and we go and shoot a movie. So I think that's super cool. Mr. Beast and Logan Paul get no ideas from this movie. Please do not make a horror movie about a video game.
Yeah.
Do not.
I won't support that.
Fuck those two. Anyway.
Honestly, same. There were aspects that I appreciated at least, but this movie went on a little too long and was a little too repetitive for me. I think it could have been a really great half-hour short film. Like a really great half-hour short film, because the set design's good. Like, the last 10 minutes, it gets appropriately bloody. There's some, like, cool practical effects in it, but, like, it's again, a little...
the set design is cool, but it's like 10 by 10 space. There's only so much you can do in 2 hours.
Yeah, and that's all you're seeing, ever. Like, you never leave the box. I don't know, like I said, like you said, I'm not gonna crap on it, because I love that this movie exists. I love that someone made a movie out of their own finances, even if he is a millionaire. Like, it's a little easier for him to make something out of his own finances than Joe Schmo working down the street. But, like, the fact is...
built from the ground up.
Right. Like, I mean, he made this movie and started a grassroots movement that put it in theaters nationwide. Like, over 1,000 theaters. Which is insane. And then people actually went to it, and it almost outgrossed the next movie we will talk about, which is it had the money of Disney behind it, which is insane. And I'll be honest, this is one of the best movies, attendance-wise, that we have had since I started working at the Coyote Twin. And I've seen people come multiple times. Now, I wish that we could get people excited for more movies than just, like, these niche ones. Like, I wish we could get that kind of interest, but I'll take it wherever it can get. I'm so grateful that people not only told us, like, hey, we want you to book this, but then they actually fucking showed up. and supported a local cinema screening a like a tiny little indie movie. That's cool as shit. And I will go to bat for Markiplier on that. And I hope if he makes another movie, which I mean at this point he'd kind of be dumb not to, I hope I like it more. I hope I like it more than this one because I didn't like Iron Lung, and I can say that, but a lot of people do. So if you're interested, I guess check it out. I just didn't find much in it at all. So I don't know. That's
What we
Iron
did
Lung.
find in it, this was a complete 180 when we made it to our second film in our double feature,
Yes.
which is Sam Raimi's return to theaters. Well, yeah, I keep forgetting he made a goddamn Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah. I mean,
return to horror for the first time since Drag Me to Hell. This is Send Help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie. Again, one of my most anticipated of the year. Sam Raimi is my guy, my favorite director of all time. Rachel McAdams is like Sam's number one. I get it. This is not what I expected the tone of the movie to be, honestly. And maybe I should have, because it is Sam Raimi. But it is 100% a comedy.
Yeah.
Survival thriller. Not a survival thriller with comedy elements. It's a comedy survival thriller.
Yeah. Oh, and like from the get-go, the tone this movie is going for. Rachel McAdams in the first like 30 minutes of this movie is bringing femme Tim Robinson vibes. Like the cringe comedy in the first half hour of this movie is immaculate. It's like, what the fuck? I feel so uncomfortable. Like they do the ponytail and glasses thing to like uggo her up, but there are genuinely gross moments where like she's got tuna salad on her chin, and it just like, Raimi loves the extreme close-ups, and it just keeps going to the extreme close-up, and it's gross. It makes your stomach turn, even though it's just tuna salad on an A-list actress.
Yeah. But also, like, her personality, she's kind of a try-hard loner, like, doesn't understand the, like, hierarchy of corporate America.
No, and she does not pick up on social cues, and she does not have the greatest social skills. And so obviously she's like passed up for a promotion, but she's really good at her job, so they allow her to fly with them just so she can fix this presentation that the douchey frat bros in charge have neglected. And obviously, plane goes down. Her and her dickhead boss, played by Dylan O'Brien, played brilliantly by Dylan O'Brien, stuck on an island, and a battle of wits ensues, and it is just so goddamn funny from start to finish. I love this movie. I did see this one twice. I'm thinking I might squeeze in just one more before the key expires Friday morning. Because I really liked it. I thought it was great. Won't happen, but Rachel McAdams should be up for an Oscar next year.
Yeah, it won't happen. Yeah, I don't know. I know it was number one at the box office its opening weekend, which is a great sign. I think it's at number 2 this weekend, but yeah, I think it's well worth the watch. I hope people go and check this movie out. I hope it inspires Sam to give Drag Me to Hell a rewatch, because I think in Raimi's filmography, this is the theme closest to that in terms of literal tone and plot points of the movie.
This movie has made me at least curious to revisit that one and see if I like it more. I am just going to have to close my eyes during the dog scene, though, because I find that shit so reprehensible. I hate it so much. It's a cute little dog. It doesn't need to die.
Well, there's a cute...
pisses me off.
Angry warthog in this one.
A cute angry warthog? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
movie's a ton of fun. It's a
yep.
blast. Also, you get your Sam Raimi cameo, and we missed the classic. Apparently, the classic's like right at the beginning of the movie, I
Oh,
guess.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Also, every time Dylan O'Brien does his little like laugh is so goddamn funny.
It's great.
Uh, yep, yep.
All right. Well, is that it? Is that all
That's
we've
it.
been doobie done?
That's all we've been doobie doing done.
All right. Well, let's get to our plugs here at the end of the show. Sam, where can people find us online if they like the podcast and they want to follow us on the interwebs?
Well, you can always subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube if you like that video component. Be sure to leave us 5-star ratings, maybe even a review, and always like and all that good stuff. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok, where we're posting about events. We're posting about our late nights. We're posting every episode so you never miss anything. And sometimes we're just posting fun, dumb content that you might like. So, yeah, check us out on all of those. Just search Screams from the Basement because our handle's different on everything because we like to make it super convenient for you, the listeners. Casey, if they want to support the show, how can they do it?
Again, we talked about Patreon. That's the best way to do so. Patreon.com/Screams from the Basement. Or you can buy our awesome merch on TeePublic. Just head over to teepublic.com, search Screams from the Basement, or click the link in the episode description as well. And then you can find all of this and so much more on screamsfromthebasement.com. That's the home for all things Screams from the Basement. That is the basement. That's the house that the basement's in, or under. Whatever analogy you want to use. But that's where you can find all the stuff, written reviews, all of our podcast episodes, all the links to all the things we talked about today are on there as well. But yeah, our next kind of events coming up, we should probably plug some of these events here. We haven't done so. If you are listening to this on Friday morning before Friday the 13th, we do have a late night at the State tonight at 10:30 p.m. We are doing Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Near sellout already as we are recording this earlier in the week, but hopefully we see you there. And then we also do have our Spiritualism in Sioux Falls event. So for our Sioux Falls friends, come check us out at the Minnehaha County Old Courthouse Museum. That is Thursday, February 19th. At 6 p.m., Old Courthouse Museum. We will be doing about an hour-long presentation with our dear friend, local Lou, Lori Kent. She will be doing a discussion on like the history of spiritualism and seances in Sioux Falls, involving some major Sioux Falls residents and people from around the area. And we're going to be following it up with like a historical talk on how spiritualism, seances, Ouija boards, all that type of stuff has been presented in horror cinema. So we've been doing a ton of research on it. It's been a ton of fun. It's a lot of things we learned while doing this. So hopefully people learn a few things while we share that as well. Sam, what else do we have coming up pretty soon? I'm looking at an event at the end of February at the Coyote, and then another Friday the 13th.
That's true. Okay, so on February 28th, we're just going to say 10 o'clock. The movie might start a little later than that, but we're going to say 10 o'clock. We are playing our buddy AJ Chambers' schlock, gross out, sex horror comedy masterpiece, Orgy of the Dead 2. If you like 60 minutes of undead burlesque dancers and like crude innuendo jokes and gross out gags, come out and see this weird little movie that our buddy AJ made. It's a ton of fun. We're gonna be doing a Q&A with him. I know he said some of the cast members are gonna be there. So come out to a free screening of it and support the Coyote Twin and support our buddy AJ and have some fun with some schlock. And then of course next month, like you said, we have another Friday the 13th. We're moving into the new line era of Friday the 13th with a favorite of this podcast, Jason Goes to Hell. Casey and I are both fucking chuffed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that word, chuffed.
I've never heard that word, but I'm feeling it.
I'm pretty sure it's British, I think. So we're chuffed to be playing Jason Goes to Hell on the big screen at the State. And we better fucking see you there, Andrew Heller.
If you're gonna Fat Dude Dig Flicks, we're calling you out right here. If you're gonna give a goddamn positive rating to Jason Takes Manhattan, your ass better be in the seat when he goes to hell. That's all I gotta say.
Yes.
All right, well, let's wrap things up. Sam, why don't you go ahead and give us that sign off?
All right. Reminder, everybody, that here on the show in the basement, we support trans youth. Fuck ICE. Get them out of our cities. Horror has always and always will be political. And thanks for tuning in, and sweet screams.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.